It's me, Sean Neo, and I'm here with Mike and Mark as always, and it's 3-player co-op, TPC, yo! Two big news stories this week related to the portrayal of women in video games. Anita Sarkeesian sought Kickstarter funding for her video game project, Tropes vs. Women in Games. She hopes to look at the portrayal of the fairer sex in loads of games. What do we think of this, gentlemen? I'm going to go with Mark first.
It's certainly an area that requires research. It could be a very interesting topic. I am a little skeptical about it in a way, though. Now, she's a gamer. She portrays herself as a gamer. So I would have hoped that she'd look at gaming documentaries and taken a leaf out of their book. They're usually very slanted. They're usually very poorly done. And I think that hers has a bit of bias to it as well. So her first 5 are all, the portrayal of women. And then it's only the 11th one where she finally brings in a positive side of gaming, or a positive side of portrayal of women. So we'll see the stronger characters and the positives there. So I was hoping for a bit more balance to it. It could be an interesting topic, though. I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
And Mike, what do you think?
I think it's interesting that she started her video by saying, with the exception of a few notable characters, because straight away it kind of excuses any counter argument you can have. So, I mean, I think women kind of do come off badly in video games. They're certainly portrayed as the weaker sex. But there are exceptions, and the exceptions are fantastic. Okay, so Alex Vance in Half-Life is not only one of the best female characters in gaming, she's probably one of the best characters in gaming. And I think that kind of stands to just how good the guys at Valve are. So one of the examples that Anita used in her video was Portal 2. So she turned the box over and you see Shell from Portal, and she just looks like a regular character. There's nothing sexualized necessarily about her. Another example would be the boss from Metal Gear Solid. I think the issue here for me is that what we have in video games is just poor characterization. It's not necessarily or explicitly, female characters are characterized badly. I think there's probably an extent of that. But I think the main issue is we've just got poor characters. You look at the guys in the Gears of War universe, all these guys are, made of 80% muscle, and they got the shaved heads and they're ultra manly, or all the first person shooters where every single character is a Marine or in the army, or I just don't care anymore. There's nothing interesting about these. They're all fairly generic. I think that's what we're seeing with our female characters as well.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. You can point out weaker examples of females in games, but as you said, the men in many of these games are awful. You don't want to play as them, you don't really care about them. I think Gordon Freeman is hailed as one of the greatest video game characters, and the reason for that is he doesn't say anything. He can never paint himself in a bad light, because you just kind of go, he's there. He is what he is. Strong, silent type.
It's interesting that you mentioned Gears of War. The girls that got a more prominent role in 3, they were pretty much the equals of the males. Obviously the guys were all testosterone-fueled beasts, but the girls weren't. And they weren't kind of over-sexualized. They were just there. They were a part of the group.
Does that come under... I saw one of Anita's headlines was, what was it, men with boobs? Now, what I'm wondering is that just the butch female aspect, or is that a male character just with a female body? So would it come under that headline then? I'm not quite sure. Some of them weren't the best explained.
Yeah. If you think about these things, that's the whole thing about tropes. You can almost always apply some label to everything, every little storytelling device. That's what a trope is. She explains it. It's not a cliche. It's more of a storytelling device. And you can almost always come up with a label. People love labels. In a related story, Tomb Raider developer Crystal Dynamics got hit with criticism. Executive producer Ron Rosenberg referred to a rape attempt scene in the reboot's trailer. A bad guy gets a bit handsy with Lara and she killed him. Rosenberg said that players will want to protect her. Mike, you have pretty strong opinions on this.
My issue isn't that there's an attempted rape in the game. I would almost applaud them for attempting to deal with an issue like this. We need a bit more maturity in video games. My actual issue with this is that Lara, maybe she had her faults, but she was a strong female character. Now, what they've decided to do is turn that on its head. And the idea is that you'll want to protect Lara, that Lara is somebody who needs your protection, as opposed to Lara is a character who kicks some ass.
It is very interesting that you say that they seem to be switching her image. And yeah, the word protect, it instantly makes you feel that she is a weaker character all of a sudden, as you say, rather than them using this rape scene or attempted rape scene to build her character a little and to, I don't know, tell a story. As you say, like, gaming isn't exactly the most mature medium in the world. And I think, referring back to the character portrayal again, they're taking their cues, the developers are taking their cues from films and traditional storytelling mediums. So you have their damsel in distress, which Disney have relied on so often. You have your side characters, you have, the hotties like Transformers have relied on so often. So gaming is trying to learn from that and isn't doing a great job at the moment. So it's hard to know if they should start with the story side of things or the character side of things. Because either way, it needs to mature somewhat. I'm not sure they should go for a rape scene this early into gaming's life cycle either.
See, I don't think that we're going to want to protect her. I think it was just a stupid comment by Rosenberg, It seems like she is going to become a fairly self-sufficient, badass character. Anyway, somehow I doubt Rosenberg will be making a whole lot more comments to the press. I'd say Crystal Dynamics will say, no, you stay indoors now.
Yeah, actually, that was kind of my reaction to the story as well. Like, if that guy, okay, he's not going to lose his job, but I don't think he's going to be talking to people unless he's got a PR minder for quite a while, and probably justifiably considering the shitstorm this has caused.
I've seen a few reactions on forums now as well, and people have rewatched the trailer. So unless it was a brilliant PR ploy by them to get people to rewatch the trailer and get the game in people's minds, because people, when they were told, oh, there's an attempted rape scene, they kind of rewatched it, and I've seen a lot of people go, what? That was it? Now, maybe we're just desensitized considering the likes of the girl with the dragon tattoo, which was pretty full on in its portrayal.
That's actually a really interesting comment about the trailer. So the whole point was that this was a pivotal moment in Lara's existence, that it was the first time she had to kill a human. And that meaning was completely taken away from it because everybody just focused on the idea that there was an attempted rape. So this character-defining moment where she has to fight for her life and kill someone is overshadowed by what could have happened if she wasn't successful.
Right, well, let us know what you think of the portrayal of women in video games, what you think of Anita Sarkeesian's project, and what you think of Tomb Raider in the comment section below. Until next time, good morning. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.